Welcome back to the channels, guys. Thank you so much for joining. Sorry I've been away for a little while. I promise to try to start cranking out these videos a little bit more frequently now. Just been busy with work. I just wanted to update you guys on the update Virtual Desktop has gone through in the last couple of months. So currently, the latest version we have today is 1.332. The last video I did, you guys viewed, I think, about 13,000 views so far, I believe. Thank you so much. I'll really appreciate it if you guys also join and subscribe to the channel so I can, put out more content. That'll motivate me more to put out more content. But yeah, I just want to make a couple of updates to you guys to keep aware of that might be helpful to you guys. I'm actually going to show you, demonstrate to you why I'm picking these options since the last update. So there's two main parts that I want to point out. That's your preferred codec. Initially, I had suggested that I was picking HVAC 10-bit, but now I'm going to suggest to you guys to use H.264 plus. That's if you have the ideal router or network setup. So that's if you have a Wi-Fi 6E router, something along those lines, a Wi-Fi 6, then you should consider switching over to H.264. And also, I know I mentioned in the previous video that you guys should, I think I said switch to automatic or VDXR, but I want to suggest now that you stick to VDXR. I'll go over the reasons for that later. Um, and the last thing will be obviously to uncheck automatically adjust bitrate. Again, this only applies if you have ideal connection speeds. So if you have a Wi-Fi 6E router, if you don't, please leave it checked. Don't uncheck it. As you would see in the video, oh, sorry about that. Put that up again. Okay. Um, as you guys all know, part of the reasons why you would want to pick um, the preferred codec of H.26 is that the streaming bitrate goes up to 500 when you pick that option, as opposed to if you pick anything else, it goes to 250 or 200 and below, I believe. But the only bitrate that goes as high as 500 is if you pick H.264. Okay, guys, so enough talking. I'm actually going to show you what I mean. Getting right now 58 millisecond in latency and 90 frames per second. I'm actually going to load, let's see here. I want to load it. Okay, games, the loading star. Which one do I want? Chapter 2. Chapter 2, I believe. Okay, so we're going to do the quarantine zone 22D. Okay, just so you guys see where we are. I'm heading back out. Oh, those barrels right there. And so I'm actually going to head out so you guys can see exactly where we are. Okay, so here we are. So I'm heading down. I'm heading down. Okay. So this is where it starts. I'm heading down, and then here we go. So watch me as I look at that spark right there on the wall. There we go. Can you guys see that? The latency is going crazy. 165 And this is a problem with picking anything else outside of the plus. I'm clocking 171 right now. 178 as high as 178. So this is the problem. You would never get this with the H.264 Plus. It'll never ever exceed 50 something, 52 or 53. Um, but with everything else, you would get this problem. And as you guys know, latency is a big no-no in virtual reality. When you're playing virtual reality games, you don't want this problem. So okay, I'll move on to the next codec to show you. Okay, so to anyone who didn't know, I didn't mention this earlier. This is Half Life Alyx, and I am now doing the codec AV1 10-bit testing. Again, as you load the game, as you guys can see now, I'm running all over the place with my latency. It's at 154 millisecond. My frame rate stays, kind of steady in the 80s, 90s, but latency is what the problem is. It is definitely erratic, and this is the only part of the game where I can demonstrate this every time. I challenge anybody out there to run Half Life Alyx at this location, running anything but H.264 plus and not get those type of problems. And finally, I'm running H.264 plus at bitrate of 500 megabits per second. The latency on this is pretty steady in a 5750 range. Never exceeds 55. And this is the problem, or this is the reason why I'm telling you guys, if you have proper hardware, stick to H.264. If you have a Wi-Fi 6 card, I'm the kind of person that I don't like to move on, change things around too much. If something works, I just rather stick with it. I don't like to switch to AV1 plus and then switch to HVAC and then switch to H.264 plus. If something's working fine, just stick with it. Especially since I don't see any difference in the quality. I've observed AV1 plus and H.264 plus closely, and I don't see any difference in the graphical detail. It looks pretty much the same to me, but you cannot deny the enhancements you get with the bitrate. And so to wrap up, guys, these are my recommendations. So you want to pick the preferred codec to be H.264 plus. Adaptive quantization, you don't have to check. It says here that it reduces compression, artifacts, and dark scenes, and it applies to 10-bit codecs only. Since H.264 is not a 10-bit codec, you don't need to check it. Now, I don't see any reason why you can't pick it, because there probably isn't a downside to choosing it. So I'll just go ahead and leave it checked. But you could uncheck it, as there should be no difference checking it or not checking it. So in my case, I just leave it unchecked. For the OpenXR runtime, you do want to leave it on VDXR, and then you also want to make sure you uncheck this automatically adjust bitrate off if you have a Wi-Fi 6E router. If you don't, then leave it checked. So again, guys, that's all I have. Let me know if you have any questions or comments below, and I will see you next time. Thanks.